Yo, 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 what's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well as usual and had a great weekend. So, before we dive into everything, like always, if anyone is in the live chat, could you let me know if you are live, if the sound and the video is good, and then we'll dive into everything very simply as usual after having seen this massive bounce on Bitcoin. Let's just say that this was the only support level that we gave after 111.6, and well, the rest is history. But let's just wait a couple of seconds to get any confirmation. Hey, hello TGMF, I hope you're well. It's nice to see you. So with that said, that should be enough, and let's dive into everything. We'll dive into the announcements first, then a quick recap of the week. This one will be extremely quick because, at least in my opinion, it was a fairly simple week. Hello, Rogic, I hope you're doing well. And then, of course, we'll dive into today's price action and what we can expect for the next week, as we have, at least we are seeing a potential swing failure pattern of the all-time high. So with that said, very quickly for the announcements, if you guys want to trade with a 30% fee discount on BitUnix, you can sign up with our link. It will be down in the description. And of course, if you want access to our imbalance indicator, which allowed me to open this long position on Bitcoin that I am still in, but also allowed me to give you this support level down there, the link will also be down in the description of this live stream. It's available inside of our courses. For the recap, well, last Sunday, if you remember, price was bouncing off our support. I remember that we did the live right when price was up there. And if you remember, what I wanted to see ideally was that I hadn't long this low because I was actually bearish and expecting lower. But when we saw this move up, the setup given inside the stream was this one. It was to see a drop into this order block to then potentially see reversal to the upside. So I was interested in opening the long position if it was offered. Unfortunately, I mean, that wasn't a big problem because, well, we know what happened next, but price just continued on going up. And when I saw this move up after the live stream, that's when I updated you inside the Discord. And what I said was that what we could expect for the week was, where is it? So it was for a runaway gap to form and see a push much higher this week. And I think saying that price pushed much higher this week is a bit of an understatement because it was really, I think, it was the biggest week that we've seen in a very long time on Bitcoin. If you go over to the CME, what you will see is that we did indeed leave the runaway gap behind. We got the open. If you guys wanted to trade the logic of the runaway gap, by the way, you could have been aggressive, which is not my favorite way to trade, of course. But if you really believe, like I did, that we would get a runaway gap, you could have longed the open of the CME, which is at 10 p.m. UTC time. So if you go back to the charts, you could maybe have longed, which again, in my opinion, is a bit too aggressive, but you could have opened a long on the open of the CME, which is again at 10 p.m. right there. And you can see you got the straight move up and you can put your stop loss to entry. But what I did is exactly as outlined in the YouTube update, but also in the live stream. As soon as we got the reclaim of 111.6, I got stopped out of my short position at 112.3. Then we got the retrace. I took my long position exactly at the low of the day. And then, as you know, I just took it much higher for the rest of the week. We had the first resistance, which was 115. I did not open a short. Price ended up moving much higher, as you know. Then we had the second resistance, which was 118. For this one, I was asleep. But as you can see, the 1 hour, again, no reaction at all on this level. On this first high, as you can see, it got front run. And that's why I wanted to see another high made before a potential rejection. No reaction. And finally, the last level that we gave of resistance was $121,000. Again, $121,000. But for me, I did not want to open any short position because I wanted to wait for weakness first. The next day I woke up We had gotten a decent rejection. This was 1.5%, I believe, but still for me it was very simple. I wanted to wait for the sign of weakness to open a short position, which was the loss of 118.6. And as long as price remained above that level, I just wanted to remain long and chill. This was the right decision because, of course, price ended up moving much higher and gave us a new all-time high this Sunday, so today. So with that said, once again, pretty simple week. I will say before we move on, I do believe that we are the only people, whether on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, I believe we are the only ones who talked about the importance of maintaining above $107,500. Every single person, even though some were bullish, they were waiting for that setup, a deviation below the low and then reclaim. But you know me, for a month I have been telling you, if you lose this level, this would be a massive sign of weakness in my opinion, and we could see much lower drops on the charts. And as you can see, this level, well, maintained extremely well. And last week, once again, our support, which was for a higher low above that level, maintained beautifully, and we got a massive bounce to the upside. So pretty proud of this call, because not only did we give the exact level to look at for higher prices for the bull market to continue, but every single person, once again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but for myself, of course, I like accuracy. A lot of people just had massive areas, and when price offered a bounce, they're like, see, Bitcoin bounced. Well, I mean, it's a massive area. You can expect a bounce when you freaking cover half of the charts. But for myself, once again, I give you one single level, $107,500, offered many rejections, the higher low last week, and the move much higher. So with that said, that's enough yapping for what happened in the past. Now, of course, it's important to see what will happen next. We have seen an all-time high, so a swing failure of the all-time high. For me, I am still in my long position and have not implemented take profit too. So let's see how we can play around this. Well, we can remove this, that's not important. We can also remove this. I will keep, do I want to keep the old all-time high or the new one? I think I'll keep the old all-time high to just mark it out. Let me put old if anyone is confused. So I think this is what I want to have on my chart for now. Now, the first thing that I want to say about this high is that personally, I don't think that this is the absolute high yet, for many reasons. The first one, I still believe that too many people are bearish, and that's one of the reasons why I did not want to look for any short positions, because, let me make it quick, short squeeze, where was that? So one of the reasons that I did not want to open a short position was because, in my opinion, this uptrend looked like a pure short squeeze. So in my opinion, this hasn't really changed. This move up was just a massive short squeeze. So to me, some people are still bearish. I'm looking at the funding rates. I'm looking at Twitter. A lot of people are left on the sidelines and are just trying to chase short positions. So for that reason, I think this one is a bit too easy. Just a swing failure pattern of the high. I'm expecting a lot of people to jump into shorts, especially if we get retracement to the downside. So for myself, I am still expecting another high. That's the first reason. And the second reason is that, as you know, as we've talked about in the past, Bitcoin always puts in a new all-time high or a bottom of a bear market between November and January. And right now it's still October. So we have at least 1 month to still see higher prices. That's the way I see it. Now, with that said, again, how can you play around this bias? Because that's still a bit too vague. We need levels, of course. Hey mate, love your work. Please take a look at CRV. Of course, we will take a look at CRV and WIF. Okay, hi Habib, bit late, but following at 1.5x. It's nice to see you, Jean-Pierre. So, levels below us, it's going to be pretty simple. First one that I want to take will be much lower. It will be this high, $117,300. If you lose this level, I'm gonna say that's going to be a big sign of weakness. We can go even higher and say that this is the level that you don't want to lose, because if you tap back into this imbalance, you will probably get the fill, okay? But for myself, I will take this high as a reference point. So I will put this in dashed. This should be my reference point to not lose. And as a support level, the first one that I see would definitely be this daily imbalance. Let's see if we have any confluence. So we have a 12-hour order block and a 12-hour imbalance, which is perfect. So I'm going to take an area. Well, it was that one. Let me take an area for this order block, make it a bit bigger to the downside. That should be good. 4 hour. I'm gonna put it to here. I like the support area. And make it a bit smaller. Would that be the 12-hour open? It would, okay. So this would be your first big support level to the downside, in my opinion. From $120,300, let's call it, to $119,600. This would be a first big area of support. Can you find any confluence? Let's look at the volume profile of this range as usual. We have the value area high in there, which is perfect. Can we have any other confluence from the low maybe? Nothing there. We have a volume gap right there, which I think will get filled at some point. So that's a nice confluence to at least expect to drop to that support level. And with that said, I don't think I have anything else. Maybe if we look at the anchored VWAP. Okay, so the anchored VWAP is going to catch up with that support level, especially if Bitcoin does take a bit of time to drop. So maybe something like this, the anchored VWAP would have caught up at this point. So I would keep an eye on this anchored VWAP when you drop to that support. For now, I will remove it. So with that said, for myself right now, I think this will be the only, oh, we have the daily open. I think like this, it's fine. Fine with that. So I think this would be the first support level. We have a daily imbalance. We have a 12-hour imbalance. We have a 12-hour order block. 4 hour, we have nothing. So the last confluence will be the value area high of this range. Losing the support level would be a first sign of weakness, in my opinion. Now for the second support, I'm not going to mark this one on my chart because if you reach it, I wouldn't like it, but it would be just the second daily imbalance, $118,600. We do have another imbalance there, so we definitely could get this. So keep this one in mind, but for myself right now, I want to focus on this level. If you lose it, I will look for this level. If you lose this level, I did mention this just a couple of seconds ago, this probably means that you will break back below this high, which would be a massive sign of weakness. So with that said, let's try to build the plan around this. We have the support and we have our bias, which is to the upside. In my opinion, what would be super nice, so this is a weekend high and people are still a bit too bearish in my view. 4 hour. So we just got the fill of the 4 hour imbalance, which is right on the daily open as well. And as you can see, it did offer a very nice bounce. So this was actually a decent day trade, long position if anyone caught it. Plus, you did have a 30-minute imbalance. Probably it was one at the lows. So I think this is a decent level to hold going into tomorrow. What I would like to see, that would be my favorite scenario. Probably consolidate around here. Up tomorrow on Monday. Let me go on the 1 hour. Put in a Monday high. So a new all-time high above this high. Monday high. Offer a failed auction or a swing failure pattern. And then send it down to our support level. And from there, I would like to see yet another leg up, which will be, in my opinion, the final leg up for Bitcoin. Because then at this point, we will be heading into November, December, which, as you all know, historically has marked the tops for Bitcoin and bottoms as well. I will show you this, by the way, if any one of you forgot, we can do a quick recap. So pretty simple to me on Bitcoin. I would still expect higher prices. I don't think that this will be a major high. Of course, if I'm wrong, then I can short weakness. Once we lose 117.3, I can look for shorts after that. That's not a big problem. But for myself, I am not expecting this to be the high. Ideally, another high tomorrow on Monday, get a decent drop to the downside, trap even more shorts, and then get that final leg up, squeeze all of those shorts, trap a lot of longs at the highs, and then get that reversal to the downside, that big reversal to the downside. Okay, guys. Of course, if you drop first, then that would be even more bullish. So if you just drop first and you don't take out that high, so if you drop first, then still this long position is even more valid because I would like that high to be taken out. So if you drop first, then you can open a long if you see a reaction down there. Okay, guys, very simple. So with that said, that should be it for Bitcoin. We keep it extremely simple. We always do. And I don't like to brag, but I do have to say that we probably have the most accurate analysis on social media. So I don't know who else gave this support and who else gave just one level to not lose. Once again, $107,500. So you don't have to make things overcomplicated and look at 500 different indicators. Price action tells you everything. So by the way, if we drop, of course, and we lose that support, then just keep an eye on this daily imbalance at $118,600. But again, for myself, I wouldn't really like the fill of that candle. That would be a bit more bearish in my opinion. So potential short tomorrow, definitely. If we take out that high and we do confirm a swing failure pattern, then I will be looking for shorts, okay? So that should offer a very nice short position for reversal to the downside. But I'm not expecting this one to turn into a massive swing trade, except of course if we lose these two levels, then this can turn into a very nice trade. But for now, I think this can offer a short, this can offer a long, and my bias does remain to the upside. So did you adjust your bias from cautious to bearish, cautious bullish when you saw that SOS on Monday? Or what? Or already brewing on it before that? I mean, I'll be honest, I remain cautious, but I'd say that I just followed my plan, guys. I mean, it was very simple. I told you in the Friday update, if you want to be aggressive, and on Sunday as well, I said this, if you want to be aggressive, you can long this support level. Personally, I did not want to long it because what did I want to see? I wanted to see the reclaim of that low. And when we got the reclaim of that low and stopped me out of my short position, I did say that this would be a massive sign of strength. And that's why I did not mind getting stopped out of that short position to open a very safe long position and then move higher. So that's just exactly what I did. I'll be honest, I didn't really think about my high time frame bias. I just traded it level to level. I got my short up there, got stopped out in a very nice profit still. That was a massive sign of strength. We got the retrace. By the way, for that long position, if anyone didn't know, I was asleep, so I could not update the Discord. I was in bed, but it was extremely simple to open it. I just opened my phone, and guess what I saw at the lows on Binance? Is it a surprise? Right at the lows of this retracement, you got a 30-minute imbalance, okay? When I saw this imbalance, that's when I opened my long position. So yeah, I mean, I don't usually focus too much on my high time frame bias because I just like trading level to level. But yeah, I mean, I was down at these lows. I was definitely cautious, and that's why I did not open a long position down there. If I was bullish, I'll be honest, if I was bullish, I would have hunted for lows on this drop, which I didn't. Especially that we had a 1 hour imbalance. Not on Binance, but on Bybit. You can see on this drop, you had a 1 hour imbalance. So if I was bullish, 100% I would have opened a long position down there. But I have to be honest, I was eating bearish, yes. And then that's why I waited to get the bounce, the sign of strength, and then open my long position. So I did miss the low, even though I had a support level. And that's exactly why. That was because of my high time frame bias. Interested also in link, if not covered already, we will cover link as well. So before I move on, by the way, from Bitcoin, I just want to do a quick recap on the highs and lows. Was it on this chart? What you will see, guys, we talked about this before. It is very important to note, in my opinion, as you on the log scale, every single every single bull market high and bottom has been put in on between November and January. You can see the all-time high was put in December. The bottom of the bear market was put in January. This week, if anyone is talking about this week, This wick only happened on the index. On exchanges, this wick did not happen. If you look at the exchanges, that's where the low was put in. And that's why if you look at my Elliott wave, that's why the wave 2 is here and not here. So again, break. I'm gonna kill myself. Okay, so all-time high, December, bottom of the bear market, January. Once again, all-time high, December, bottom, December. All-time high, November, bottom, November. This was a high put in on January, but this did not end up being a high before a bear market. So now you look at the same thing, basically between November and January. This will be your window to look for a new all-time high on Bitcoin. And that's why, as you can see right now, we are not into that window. And as you can see with that plan, if we move higher, this would give you a high into November, at least to then see a potential reversal to the downside. Okay, guys, so that's one of the reasons why I would like to see one more high on Bitcoin. So that said, we can move on to Ethereum. Bitcoin, very simple. If you guys have any questions, of course, let me know in the live chat. Let's move on to Ethereum. So Ethereum, this one played out beautifully as well. I did not give a support in advance on this low, but when I saw this bounce, I did recognize that, guess what we had? We had two 12-hour imbalances. You filled them and then you got the bounce to the upside. So when I saw this on Sunday, this was the setup that I gave. The first sign of strength, as I said, was the reclaim of the lows at $4,060. So if anyone was aggressive, you could have long maybe that breakout, even though I don't like long breakouts, but you could have waited for retracement after seeing the reclaim of that level for a move higher. But as I said, the biggest sign of strength for Ethereum would have been to reclaim, to break above this 4-hour imbalance at $4,150. And if you waited for that, guess what happened? You got the break above that level, which was a sign of strength. And guess what happened on the retracement? Is it a surprise once again? You had a 4-hour imbalance. And what did you have as well? You had a 1-hour imbalance, which was also an order block. So you take this area. Guess what Ethereum did? It came down to fill the 4-hour and the 1-hour imbalance, test the order block, and then reverse to the upside. So if you just remain patient on Ethereum, you waited for that sign of strength to break off that level, the retracement, you got the fill of the imbalance, and then a pretty big reversal to the upside until now. So once again, very nice plan on Ethereum. Of course, I don't trade Ethereum a lot. I just traded Bitcoin, but if anyone traded Ethereum, it was a pretty simple trade to take, in my opinion. I'd say even easier than Bitcoin because you got the fill of the imbalance. Ethereum on the higher time frames, I think if Bitcoin goes higher, what did I want to do? I think if Bitcoin goes higher, it would make sense now to hit that area on Ethereum around $5,300. Okay, we did have a bit of confidence up there looking at the Fibonacci's, if you remember. Plus, I just spotted this. If you look at the Elliott waves, it does look like we have a 5-wave move. That looks very nice. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be your wave 5. So actually, this looks very nice on Ethereum. This would be your last wave 5. And if my higher time frame bias is correct on Bitcoin, that you will find a top between November and January, then this could offer your wave 2 on Ethereum for a decently deep drop before another move higher. But I just noticed that this is a very nice. This looks like a very nice 5-wave move up. So this is a very nice conference actually to expect that move towards $5,300. We can count this wave in the middle as well. I think this is very easily countable. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this should be your wave 3. The wave 1 is even more simple. You don't even have to count it. So wave 1, wave 2. This is your wave 3 in a 5-wave move. This was your wave 4 in a deep 3-wave, not deep actually, but in a decent 3-wave corrective structure. And now you are moving up for the final wave 5. So Ethereum, expect higher. That's all I'm going to say. We can find support levels, of course. We can now remove this because that played out. And this. Let's go on the daily. Nothing. 12-hour. We have this imbalance, so I'm going to take this. I want to look at the volume profile as well. No. But from this, point of control is gonna be below. Let me take this level. I want to check something. Let's go on the 4 hour. I do prefer this level on Ethereum, even though we don't have the volume traded on it. So I'm gonna put this one in dashed. This would be a weaker level. On Ethereum, just like Bitcoin, of course, we would like to see higher. If the Bitcoin plan plays out, that we get up, retracement, and then up, I do believe that Ethereum could offer something similar, where it doesn't really matter for the short because I don't see a big level on it, but maybe put in one more high. Actually, this looks fine for a high on Ethereum. So maybe just go up a bit, down, and then from there, move higher. This looks nice on Ethereum. And of course, if you lose this level, then this could still offer a bounce as well. But I have to say this upper level, 4,380 pretty much. This looks like a very nice level. The second one that you don't want to lose at all will be $4,300. If you lose this level, then you get acceptance back into this imbalance, and that's going to be a bit of a problem for me. But these will be your two levels on Ethereum. This one is a strong one. This one is a bit weaker, but still tradable. So very simple on Ethereum. I love that we have that confluence. I didn't even notice it before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be your final move up on Ethereum, which is a nice confluence to expect to top on Bitcoin as well. Because if Ethereum tops, then of course, this should mean that Bitcoin has topped out as well. So, 1 second. Did you, okay, a bit late. So let's take a look at CRV and WIF as requested. Did we give any altcoin setup last week? I don't remember. I don't remember us giving any I do remember Link. We still had the support below, but I don't think we had any other altcoin setup. I don't know if I'm just forgetting something. Yeah, I don't remember us giving any altcoin setup, so I think we can go straight into the requested altcoins. CRV, you just got the reclaim of a very nice level, which was the anchored VWAP, and this level which had offered multiple bounces here, as you can see. This was a daily imbalance, I believe. Yup, this was a daily imbalance. So you got the reclaim of that level, which is a good sign of strength. Plus you got a daily imbalance on the reversal, which is pretty nice. So with that said, of course now it is at resistance, so I would keep this in mind, which is very simply this daily imbalance. Why am I doing this? So it is at resistance, I would keep this in mind. Plus you had two imbalance on the rejection. Can you look for shorts up here? I don't think that would be the smartest idea yet. Probably wait for retracement. Where would that be? This 4-hour imbalance got filled. 12-hour maybe. Nothing. Every single open has been retested, as you can see. Open, retest, open, retest, open, retest, open, retest. Has literally retested every single open. I don't like this. Not in the sense that it's bearish, but in the, I guess that would be a bit bearish if you don't have any obvious support level, because then if you drop, you don't have any strong support level to offer that big bounce higher. 1 hour maybe something. Even this imbalance got retested. You can, I mean, guys, if you're not trading imbalances, you can see 1 hour imbalance, you got the retest and you moved higher. So you've literally filled every single imbalance. So unfortunately for myself, I cannot give you a support level. Following my system, I don't have a support level. Sorry. I would definitely look for these lows to hold. That's one thing I can say. So maybe if you drop and you get close to these lows, this could offer something like this. But I don't like the fact that every single imbalance has been retested. I mean, it's bullish on the short term, but Again, if you retrace and you don't have these big supports, then where can you look for long positions? That would be my problem. So once again, on CRV, the only thing I would look for is for these lows to be maintained. If you lose them, I think that would be a bit of a sign of weakness. On the high time frame, does this does this give confidence for spot accumulation? Man, I can't even read. That's insane. On the higher time frames, you've taken the liquidity. I don't know. On the higher time frames, this coin just looks slow. That would be my. I mean, on the higher time frame, that's actually all I'm gonna say. All you have to do is maintain this low. So if you have any spot holding on CRV, if you lose that low, then probably I would look to exit on this coin. That would be my one concern, or maybe just level of reference. As long as you maintain above this low, then any spot holdings should be fine for higher prices. That's how I would analyze this. You probably don't want to lose this low. So under higher time frames, actually it's pretty simple. All you want to do is maintain that low. If you lose it, you probably want to start scaling out maybe. Even though I don't like selling on drops, I like selling on pumps. This would be once again like a low that you don't want to lose. So then we can look at WIF. You ask for WIF. WIF. So we did have a prediction before, which didn't play out. What was that? Was that a daily? That was, what? What was that level? 4 hour? Yeah, that was that wasn't even a 4 hour imbalance. Why did I give this level? I don't remember, but no reaction. That was a while ago. Okay, this one didn't play out. When it doesn't play out, of course, I have to admit. Okay, so one good thing on WIF is that you have this double top that I think could be taken out up there. You had the high and you had these highs just below. So I think you can look for these highs to get taken out. If you have any partially filled to the upside, 3-day maybe, daily, that would be a nice target for WIF. 153. You have a daily imbalance there. Oof, this one offered a bounce to the exact cent. Daily imbalance, I mean, can you get any more accurate than this? I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can get any more accurate than this on WIF. So you got the daily imbalance and the 12-hour imbalance, so this could have been a very small area. As you can see, it did offer a bounce until now. So on WIF, to me, it would be pretty simple. Same thing as CRV, you probably don't want to lose that low, because you filled the daily imbalance and you saw the bounce. We had very nice volume at the lows. So right now, I would look for the fill of this 12-hour imbalance, at least up to 0.87. For support level, of course, it was already tapped, so that's pretty unfortunate. Right here, we're still too close to the lows for me to give a new support level. But if you lose this one, well, you're probably gonna go for this, right down to 0.5. So on WIF, that's what I would say. Plus you got the reclaim of the value yellow right there, so that's pretty nice. So on WIF, that's what I would say. You got the retest of the daily imbalance for a bounce to the upside. At this point, you probably, I mean, of course, if Bitcoin can go higher, this coin will just follow while maintaining above this low. Link, there's nothing else. It's still, for me, it's still that support below. This resistance, once again, I've recapped this 1,000 times, but this resistance has offered a very nice rejection for me until Link hits 18.5. I wouldn't be super bullish on this coin. If you hit it, nice volume, you get a reaction, then this could offer a very nice long position. On Link, for me, my view hasn't changed. 18.5, then higher. Can you take a look at US indices? Of course. US indices. I mean, everything is still moving up. I don't what do you want me to tell you about US indices? We can look at something. As you can see, we had this first resistance, which I do remember saying this is not the big one. The big one will be the fib golden bucket, the golden expansion. So you can look at this one, which will be a bit higher. So you can simply move that plan up there. This one will be a much stronger resistance than this one. So you do this. You do this. This would be a decent resistance. Let me check something. Nah, that's too high. I think around 7,000. This is a pretty big area, but I'm assuming that you don't want to short the indices, so you don't need something super accurate. I think this would be your first resistance. Plus, it's a very big psychological level. It's going to be the next 1,000, so $7,000. I think on the indices, definitely it will be interesting to see where they open today. If we get, for example, a big gap down and a continuation lower, then this could mean lower prices to come for Bitcoin. So you could keep an eye on the indices, even though personally I don't really do it. But it would be somewhat interesting to see where it opens tomorrow, especially the Nasdaq and the S&P. So for the S&P, this would remain the big level above. You can see the previous golden pocket offered a very big rejection. So the next golden pocket, you can expect a nice rejection as well, especially if we head into it in the same timing that we do on Bitcoin, so between November and January, okay? So 1 to 3 months from now, if you get that move up, your rejection, then of course we can see a reversal on Bitcoin and on stocks as well. But not much to know for me on the, not much to note, sorry, for me on the indices. It's just like straight up, not many retracements offered, so I don't know. It's just probably gonna continue on going straight up until, for me, until we find a top on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin finds a top, this is where the stock market will find a top as well. This would be my my view on this. So Bitcoin coming back down. By the way, I think if we get back close to these lows, I'm probably going to consider closing my long position, because at this point, it has been a massive win, and I haven't even implemented the take profit 2 yet. My take profit 1 was on Tuesday. It was right. Where is it? Right there. This was my take profit 1. This was still on Tuesday. So it's a massive win for now. So I think I'm very happy with the profits, and I'm not looking to hold this one for too much longer, because I am expecting a retracement, and if I close it maybe up here, if we lose the daily open, so if I close it down here, then I can just look for new long positions, which I would prefer at this point, because if we see weakness, then we could start getting very big drops. The stronger the uptrend, guys, if this can load, the stronger the uptrend, the stronger the downtrend will be. Okay, so that's one thing to note. But for now, everything is fine as long as you maintain above the weekend lows. That should be okay. I think actually I'm gonna move my stop loss towards these lows. That should be fine for me. I'm gonna put my stop loss on my long position, so 121.3 probably. Can you take a look at gold and silver? Yes. Gold probably still moving up. Yeah, what a surprise. So this was the first resistance, which I guess offered a bit of a reaction, but then just breaks straight through it. Plus we have an Elliott wave count here. We can look at this one. And this thing just keeps on moving up. This didn't pay out, obviously. We can remove. Remember, we had a fib pocket up there. I'm actually surprised that this was the only reaction it offered. So yeah, I think this still looks good for, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this still looks good. But 1, 2, I mean, this looks like a very big extension. So on gold, and look at this. What can I tell you on gold? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a high time frame fib pocket. Did I look at this one before? This would be a wave 2. It's based on log scale as well. So, oh yeah, this did offer a first rejection, as you can see. This fib pocket. You can see how strong they are, but I just don't see any more resistance on gold. So at this point, it's just about waiting for a sign of weakness, which would be, I don't know. I don't know what the sign of weakness on gold would be. Just so overextended. But at some point, you would expect this wave to complete and then to just go as a resistance. I just don't have one, but you would expect. So this would be wave 3. Then you would have another like sideways price action as you did there for wave 4, and then you would have a wave 5 much higher. It's just right now for gold, it's just about waiting to see when that wave 4 comes in. And I think it will be very obvious to see when it comes in. And when it comes in, of course, that's when you want to buy gold. Buy when it drops, not when it rises. You buy when it drops and you wait for that next leg to the upside, which would be your wave 5. But apart from this, I don't see much on gold. I mean, my only resistance got broken pretty easily, so I don't know. Silver, I remember talking about it. Silver probably wait up. Okay, so it's there. We've been saying on silver, wait for a new all-time high. The all-time high is coming even faster than I anticipated, so that's very good to see. Let me look at the AG stock. I need a bigger pump on the stock. That's okay. So still a very nice move up, but silver, I think silver is paying out. I mean, not exactly as predicted because there was not much to do. It's just expect a new all-time high on silver. So silver, once again, new all-time high. Do you have any resistance above? This one is going to be hard to find because this retracement was so deep. Can maybe look at this. This would be nice actually to look at a fib extension. This looks like a nice wave 1, 2. And this is in log. So you have reached the 1.618. So probably the next one would be the 222. This one, a reaction, the 222. But overall, you want to expect higher on silver. We talked about this before. Not about the Elliott wave, but about the overall concept. Right now, I can see a nice Elliott wave. This looks like a 1, 2. Will you put in maybe a wave 3 just above the all-time high for a failed auction? And then another long wave 4, since this one has been long, maybe a bit of a quick and deep retracement, and then continue higher. I think that's possible for silver. But overall, this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you still have much higher to come on silver, in my opinion. So for silver, it does actually look more promising than gold, just because gold is so overextended. I mean, anyways, do you want to buy up here gold? Of course not. Do you want to buy silver up here? Of course not. And you want to short silver as well? I don't see why you would look to short silver. I mean, you just have better assets to short, in my opinion. Like Bitcoin, for example, it does offer much easier shorts very often. Silver, I don't think you want to look for shorts. So overall, of course, the trend is up. I think this is very easy to see. And we have been talking about just waiting for a new all-time high. Plus, if anyone is new, guess what happened on this exact low? Well, would it be a surprise? 12-hour imbalance, you get the fail to the exact dollar, you get the bounce, you even got another retest, and then this offered the final low for a massive reversal to the upside. So imbalances, even on silver, you can see that they are extremely important levels. But with that said, man, I mean, it's just not much to note on silver and gold. It's just extremely strong uptrends. I had one resistance on gold, which offered a very small rejection, but that was it. Stock market, same thing. The next resistance to me, of course, I could be wrong, but I don't care because I don't really trade the stock market. But the next resistance could be the psychological level at $7,000. This is still a bit higher, so mainly Bitcoin is just easier to trade, guys. I mean, actually it's 4%, so we could get it. We could get very easily another 4%. What am I saying? So yeah, maybe another 4% on the stock market going into November, December, January. And then if we find a top on Bitcoin, as I said, we will probably find a top on the stock market. And possibly even on gold as well. I think it would be a time for a lot of investors to de-risk because this is just getting a bit insane in my view. I mean, even for myself, I'm just in long positions, but it's like it's just been so impulsive. Will you sell some silver at the all-time high? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm looking where I can sell some silver. Well, it just depends on what you buy silver for. If you buy it for the very long term, if you buy it for the very long term, in my opinion, just wait for a sign of weakness before selling, okay? So very simply, for example, what you can do is take the all-time high, break, just take the all-time high, and if you see something like this, then you can sell a bit of silver. You wait for the wave four to form. So that was the wave 2, that was the wave 4, that will be the wave 4. You buy, so you sell on the first retracement and then you buy a bit lower. But you can see, like, is that worth it to sell at, like, I don't know, $48 to buy again, let's say in a very good case scenario at $40? To me, it's just not worth it to trade it either. I just think it will go much higher. Again, I talked about this before. This chart looks very bullish at this point. It looks very good. So I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. Definitely, I'll keep an eye on it if and when it breaks above the all-time highs. Then of course we can see together. Do we get a failed auction, a reversal back down? Will this be a sign of weakness or not? We can track this together. So that's not a problem. You don't really have to predict what will happen next. Buying silver and gold to me is extremely simple. You just wait for the drops and you buy on the drops. It's literally the easiest assets to invest in ever. You wait for the drops and you buy the drops. I mean, even on Bitcoin, you wait for the drops and you buy the drops. If you bought every single drop on Bitcoin, you would be in massive profits right now. Some people, of course, cannot be patient, and what they will do is instead of buying here, they will buy here. But some people just are not patient, and that's life. How long will those tops last for gold BTC stocks? I'd say maybe a couple of months, maybe not too long. But at the same time, I'm inclined to say a couple of years, just because on the stock market, if anyone is interested, I don't know if you guys care, maybe you just care about Bitcoin. But on the stock market, I have been seeing some stories about like these shit stocks, pretty much QBTS, these quantum computing stocks which have no fundamentals behind them and are completely pumping non-stop. These are pretty much the shit coins of the stock market. And when you see these very bad companies pumping a lot, I wouldn't say that this is a black swan, of course, but this is a bit of a reflection of what the investors are doing right now. It's just complete risk on, no shorts at all. Just buy anything. If anything goes up, buy it. Pray for the best, and then just see what happens. So when you see these very bad companies, I've looked a bit into them, but not too much, and I have seen that they're, especially QBTS, is pretty much like it's a very bad company. It's pumping so much. This is when you can say that are we heading into a very big bubble, in which case you wouldn't expect a very quick retracement as we had in April, but maybe a bit of a much bigger retracement on the overall stock market to just deleverage a lot and then head higher. But that's planning too long in the future, so I don't really care about this. It's just these stocks are interesting to note. I think another one was like IBS, so I forgot. Was it IBS? Maybe IBS? No, that was not IBS. I don't know, but you had like 4 stocks like QBTS that are just worthless, fundamentally speaking, and are just pumping so much. So once again, it just tells you about how risk on investors are. And when you see these climactic moves, usually these can mark very long-term tops. But once again, that's just too long in the future to care about, in my opinion. That's just too long in the future. But these should be interesting stocks to keep an eye on, in my opinion, like QBTS, which is just the shit stock of the stock market, the shit coin of the stock market. Sorry. So it's like Dodge, when you saw Dodge pump to like freaking 90 cents, a parabolic move. It wasn't this one. I mean, when you see this massive move on the shitcoin, it's like, okay, this marked a top on Bitcoin for like, how long was it? Maybe a year and a half? Yep. I don't know, a year and a half, if I remember right. 1 year exactly. So with that said, I think that should be it for this stream, guys, except if have I missed any questions? How long? What do you think about BTC treasury companies? I I don't care about them, honestly. I don't keep an eye on them. I think they're pretty useless in my opinion, and I just honestly I couldn't care less. I think, in my opinion, these are just cancer for Bitcoin. It's hopefully they, I don't want to say hopefully they go bankrupt because you have jobs being created, so that would be extremely cruel to say. But I just don't like these companies, especially like, I mean, do I want to mention this company? Some people love it, but I just freaking hate it. Like my MicroStrategy. What is this, man? It's just a company that buys Bitcoin. Like, why not buy Bitcoin yourself? It just doesn't make sense to me. Why buy a company that buys Bitcoin and not buy Bitcoin itself? And you can see, by the way, Bitcoin has made a new all-time high, but this one is very far off its all-time high. It's literally 35% off its all-time high. So if we get a very big drop on Bitcoin, possibly after topping in the coming month, will this one be revealed as some sort of a scam and it will just go bankrupt? I don't know. But for me, I just don't like these companies. Just we don't need them. We don't need them. And that's just my view. I could be wrong, of course, because once again, I know some very smart people that love these companies, but for me, they're not my thing. You have much better things to invest in out there. So with that said, guys, do you think they can make bear markets worse? What do you mean? Oh, you mean these companies? Definitely, yeah, definitely. Because they simply add fear. And when you have more fear, you have more liquidations. I mean, not more fear, more liquidations, but these can just accelerate the moves down, the moves down, yes, and get massive liquidations. So yes, I do think that these companies can make bear markets worse. Definitely. So with that said, guys, I think we'll do a quick recap of this live stream. We'll just do a recap of Bitcoin and Ethereum because we haven't really covered any very interesting altcoin setup. I'm not seeing any big altcoin setup except on Ethereum. So on Bitcoin, ideally for myself, I would look for a new all-time high to be made tomorrow. If this offers a failed auction above that high or a swing failure pattern, this can offer a very nice short position in my opinion to just see not a very big drop to the downside, I mean not a long-term high, but to see a decent drop to the downside, hit the support level, and then see another reversal to the upside, which will be in my opinion the final leg up on Bitcoin before we potentially mark a top before a bear market. If you drop first, as I said, this would be more bullish in my opinion because I am looking for this high to get taken out. In my opinion, this is not the all-time high yet. I am still expecting higher prices. So drop first. This offers a more confident long position. This is your first support level. The second one, I don't have it on my chart, but if you want, you can mark it out. It will be this daily imbalance, $118,600. For myself, once again, I am still in my long position, no take profit to implemented yet, and I will put my stop loss after the stream just below these lows. Just because if we get a drop, I want to see does the support level hold, because if we lose it, that would be a first sign of weakness in my opinion, and I just want to lock profits in on my long position. On Ethereum, I'm looking for it to head towards our target, which was $5,300, $5,400. On the higher time frame, I do have to say Ethereum does look very good. On the Elliott wave side, it does look like we have a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which just like Bitcoin could mark one final leg up before putting in a top to then retrace in a wave 2 and then move much higher in the coming years. But for now, of course, on the lower time frames, we have two support levels on Ethereum. The first one will be around $4,380, and the second one, which is a bit weaker, will be $4,300. Thank you for the stream. Well, thank you all for your questions. I do really appreciate it. Everyone who has questions in the live chat. And if you guys could leave a like on the stream, it will be heavily appreciated. I mean, we do share, come on guys, like we do share extremely accurate setups on Bitcoin over and over again. If you guys can just leave a like on the stream, that's all I'm asking for. That would be heavily appreciated. And of course, everyone who is watching and asking questions and just saying hi in the live chat, also much appreciated. But once again, a like would help a lot. So with that said, that was it for this stream. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you once again for your questions. And with that said, I will see you tomorrow morning inside the Discord. So see you everyone, and goodbye.